Hello, everybody. Intuition here. Thank you, as always, for making time and space for us. We have a very important reminder, a public service announcement. And that announcement is to remind you that you are all gods. Yes, you heard me correctly. Gods. Lowercase g gods, but nevertheless gods. It's important for you to remember this because many of us are feeling very powerless in this moment, very powerless at this point in our story, in our collective story. Many of us feel hopeless. Our current state of affairs is far beyond changing. What are we going to do? What can we do? We're just mere little humans. We're powerless. There's something bigger, badder than us, scarier than us, controlling us, in control of us. The government, God, the big lady with the big belly in the sky. Something is bigger than us, controlling us, and therefore we are powerless. There's nothing that we can do to change what it is that has already been set in motion. So therefore we must just sit as we watch this car crash, as we watch this car drive right off the bridge into the water, and we're strapped in tight, and there's no escape. But the good news is that there is an escape. You tied yourself into the seatbelt. You are also the person driving the car off the bridge, because you are a god, lowercase g god, but nevertheless God. You are the gods that created this place in which we are now in, called Earth. The OG God did not create this place. In a way, OG God did, because God is the spark that is within all of us. But we are also gods. So, and God did not create this craziness that we're in. We, us gods, did. The 7 universal principalities did. And as we are all extensions of these 7 universal principalities, then guess what? You, me, Jimmy down the street, we're all gods. And as gods, we have incredible power, control. We're not powerless. It is so hard. And I know this sounds silly. This sounds like some bullshit that I'm about to say. But nevertheless, it is harder to believe that you are powerless than for you to actually literally be powerless. You have to tell yourself that you are powerless to then therefore believe that you are powerless. But you know, on some level, that you are not powerless. You know that knowing and beliefs are 2 different things, right? Knowing transcends belief. In order for you to believe something, you have to keep on telling yourself an idea over and over and over and over and over again. And knowing, you do not have to validate. You do not have to keep on reaffirming. But a lot of these channels, these news channels, or the channels in your life in the sense of these people and their channels of consciousness, keep on telling you, isn't it scary out there? It's scary out there. Did you hear this over there? Did you hear that over there? There's a spooky guy in that corner over there. That's scary. Everything is scary. Did you know it's scary? And that is an idea that keeps on getting reaffirmed and reinforced. And that keeps on being played out and played out and played out and played out. And after that keeps on being said a million different times, that becomes a belief. And once it becomes a belief, it has to be reaffirmed by everybody in your life, by the news, by Jimmy down the street, by everybody. But that is because that is a belief and not a knowing. A knowing, you know. You don't have to have it reaffirmed and justified by everybody and their mother. You know that you are you. You don't have to keep on looking in the mirror and say, oh, did I just disappear? Let me look in the mirror really quick and see. No, you know that you're you and you know that you're here. You know it. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to keep on looking at yourself a million times a day just to remember that you're still here. That's a knowing. So therefore, look at why you're feeling the illusion of powerlessness, because you are a god. Why are you feeling powerless? You can change anything that you are seeing that you do not like or want. You alone. Now, that does not mean that you alone can go and take down big, huge structures that society has put in place, that collectively we have all put in place, because that goes against another God, so to speak. But you, as a God, can do something independently as a God that changes the trajectory for everybody else. If you don't like something, then do something about it. Write about it. Be active about it. Do something to change the trajectory, but don't sit and whine and cry and tell everybody else, I'm scared. Are you scared? Let's all be scared together. Because that is bringing you right out of your godhood. That is bringing you right out of your power and bringing you back into a state of powerlessness. That is bringing you back into the lower dimensional aspect of yourself that is just a human being. And that is the farthest thing from what it is that you actually are. You are a God. This earth exists because you put it here. We put it here, all of us. It's not that the earth exists and then we evolved from a single cell organism and then bop, 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 boop, 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 beep. It exists because we put it here. And even if we did evolve from single cell organisms, we chose as gods to evolve in that structure in that way. If you want to go into rhetoric and minutia about it. So, again, you are God. On some level, you must know this, because otherwise, why do you have to keep on reaffirming all these other beliefs that are trying to tell you otherwise? It is the idea that you know that you're a God and that is so scary for you that you have to bring in all this other crap to tell you otherwise. So therefore, what are you choosing to believe? What are you choosing to reaffirm? If you want to be powerless, then that is a want. That is a choice. As we just said, we just shared with you how beliefs work. Beliefs are not knowing. Beliefs are a lower third dimensional way to try and sublimate, try and have you identify with something that is not what it is that you really are. Because you know what you are. You do not, again, need to look in the mirror a million times to know that you're here and know that you're you. You don't. You just know it, right? But there's a million things telling you that you are not you. You're not you unless you're unless you eat a Snickers. You're not you unless you put on all this makeup. You're not you unless you wear all these fancy clothes. There is a million things telling you that you're not you, but you know that you're you. You know it. But it's just sometimes you get confused because there's a million things telling you that you're not you. There's a million things telling you that you're powerless because on some level you know that you are God. And because other universal principalities are trying to trick you sometimes, and they know that you know you're God, they want to be the OG gods in the room. And so therefore they will throw all their tricks at you. Well, you're not really you. Well, you're just powerless. You're just a human being. Look at that man over there. He's more powerful than you. And look at that one over there. They're more powerful than you too. And then we have all these laws in place. So really, how powerful are you? You're just a little nothing. But no, all those things are in place because you are far from nothing. If you were really nothing, there would be nothing. They wouldn't be trying to scare you all the time, whoever they are. Those other universal principalities that are trying to trick you. So, wake up call, or maybe more aptly, a remembrance call. You are a God. You are the last person apparently that seems to know, though, because there are so many other structures that are in place trying to dissuade you from the knowing that is already very much there. Because again, if that wasn't true, there wouldn't be so much propaganda to tell you otherwise. And that propaganda is just another universal principality trying to play you. But again, in order to be played, you have to be playing. Why are you playing? Why are you feeding in? You don't need to look into a mirror to remember that you're here. So why are you choosing to play into the idea that you are powerless and that you are not a God and that you did not create this earth and everything in which that you are seeing? Again, it's a co-creation, but nevertheless, Just because you co-created means that you are powerful, you are a god. So, remember, please, if not to help every other universal principality in the room, and this room is the planet, so to speak. So remember, the universal principality that you are, if not for everybody in the room, in the very least for yourself. Stop feeling powerless. You are far, far, far from it. The most powerful. And when you remember that you are the most powerful, just as powerful as all those other universal principalities that are throwing their powers at you, you can start throwing your powers right back. But guess what? You have to remember that you are God first, that you are not powerless, that is not doomsday, unless you want to believe it, and that it is doomsday. It is only if you believe it that it becomes doomsday. But again, listen to the words, believe, not know, believe. You have to believe it. You have to buy into what it is somebody else is saying. Why are you buying into something that somebody else is trying to sell you when you know better? I could sell you water, but hey, I hope you don't look to your left and see that there's a stream right next to you. A beautiful stream, a mountain stream that has better water than I could ever sell you. So remember, there's a stream right next to you. Remember that you are a god. Remember that you do not need to buy into anybody's bullshit. Unless you want to. Then that is a choice, and that is equally valid. But make a choice. Don't be fooled otherwise. As always, we thank you for making space and time for us. It is wonderful, as always, to see another god in the room. We hope that you start seeing yourself in the same way that we see you. Well wishes.